basketball today. We're in the prime of the basketball season. There's a lot basketball. There's a lot NBA going on. We're just gonna dedicate a day to it today. This is Let's Be Real with Tajri Russell. I have two guests here. Chris, if you don't mind introducing yourself.
Oh, hey everybody, what's going on? It's your boy Chris Edwards. I mean, this kind of how I bring myself into my own podcast. It's your boy Chris Edwards, aka Young Christ, like on social media, and Good Reporters. We just bringing it in. Just big basketball fan, love the sport, love the game. Huge Knicks fan. Let's go.
Let's go Knicks. And also, Johnny, if you want to introduce yourself.
Of course. What's going on, guys? My name is Jonathan. Last name Raciano. You don't need to know how to spell that, but IG the handle is at _ call him J _ You know, I'm bringing the motivation every day, but we here talking about sports. I ain't really with the most popular team in the world, but I'm loyal to the Timberwolves. You know, shout out to KG being inducted into the Hall of Fame.
KG.
Yes. Yeah, we here to talk basketball. Let's get it.
Absolutely. And there's been a lot going on in the NBA world, as y'all know. We're also going to get into a good NBA fantasy season that we had. You can check out another show on Elevation Sports 5280, where they actually talk about fantasy on a regular basis. But, you know, I like to dabble too. We like to dabble too. We do a little bit of everything out here. So we're definitely going to get into some fantasy talk. The first thing we wanted to go over as a group was just this play-in tournament. Now, we had the first round yesterday, last night, afternoon, nightish, depending on where you are. And then we have the second round today in a couple of hours, actually. I think the first game starts at 7 or 9 Eastern. But it's going to be interesting. So, about yesterday, let's start with yesterday. What did you guys see? And I'm just going to put the bracket up just so that we have it for reference. But I'm going to start with you, Johnny. Like, how did you feel about the Wizards' performance versus the Celtics, and how did you feel about the Hornets getting eliminated?
To be honest, I knew that in order for the Wizards to win, they would have had to have a big game, a Jason Tatum type game, in order for them to beat the Celtics. Although the Celtics were shorthanded, I mean, Tatum has shown that he's clutched time and time again, and I think the games that we were looking for in terms of scoring from Bradley Beal, we didn't really see it. In terms of maybe putting up a 40 or 50 piece. We know Russ is going to get his triple-double, but besides those two guys, there's not much scoring. The Celtics had an advantage with their chemistry. Jason Tatum, even without Brown, he knows how to take the leadership role of his team and put everybody in the right spots. Of course, Tristan Thompson always played his part with a nice little double-double. So it was just a great team, great coaching, all-around chemistry versus two that had to carry everything on their back. In regards to the Hornets are a great team, don't get me wrong. Even though LaMelo got injured, definitely he should still be Rookie of the Year. But ultimately, I think it's
Minnesota.
It's not popular. Bro, I know as a Timberwolves fan, I should be, marching for Anthony Edwards. But it can go either way. But in regards to the Hornets, I just think that they didn't have enough to win. But it's a great team. Definitely be on the lookout for them. But chemistry, good coaching, and it goes a long way. And I've seen that with teams, not only with the Celtics, but also the Pacers. It's I give high praise to Sabonis. That's my boy.
Yeah. No. I hear that. I mean. All right. So Chris, how do you actually? Did you have any expectations that the Hornets might get an upset though? Because when you look at the Pacers, like I know Sabonis is a good double guy. Like he'll get you the rebounds. He'll get you a good 20, 25 points. But I was looking like, where's the offense really going to come from? Watching the game live, I was kind of shocked from how bad the Hornets defense was. But I feel like if they were able to keep up defensively, they could have got an upset. What do you think about that?
Yeah, they would have been okay, man. I think, man, first off, I think that the Hornets, they left their heart somewhere. They didn't bring it with them. That was like first and foremost, like that's really what it was about.
Yeah.
The defense, that was a part of it. Their scorers weren't hitting they have scorers. Like you said, where would the offense come from? They got Devontae Graham. They got Teddy Rozier. LaMelo can get his buckets. He's passed first. They got Malik Monk off that bench. They have scorers. They just, I don't know, something was a little off to me. I'm not going to call throwing it and trying to get into the lottery or anything, but I'm saying lottery looks pretty nice. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not going to call it, but I'm saying, like, it just looked a little off. The defense, LaMelo Ball, man, he has great anticipation, but, you know, he's not really here to play defense.
Right.
He's not Lonzo in that, right? The team they just seem to, like, they have defenders too. They got PJ Washington, they got the Bridges, they have players like that. I just don't think they came in with the heart more than anything, if you ask me. So yeah, I thought they would have won. Honestly, it shouldn't be upset because they were supposed to be the AC. You know, and they lost Karis LeVert. So it was like they should have been the favorites to win that, if you ask me. I just didn't think they brought the heart.
Yeah, I mean, like, in terms of the whole, like, lottery thing, I don't think that's the Michael Jordan way. So I don't think that, like I thought that at first, but then I remember Jordan's on the sidelines. Yeah. And so I don't think he's going to just let the team, like, okay, well, whatever. They're not going to do what the Clippers did and just lose out so that they place where they want to, type of thing. But my thing, it just came down to, and I think a lot of this play-in series is going to come down to experience. And because we're coming into a shortened season already based off of last season ending late. So the guys with the lesser amount of playoff and postseason experience, they don't really have a rounder to, where the veterans can kind of like carry them through and show them the ropes. And this is the playoffs, and it's faster, and this, and on top of that, the play-in is do or die. Now, how did y'all feel about that part? Like the play-in game is one thing. I think LeBron didn't like it. Some people did like it. I think it's great for TV overall. Definitely gives media something to talk about. But how did y'all feel about the idea of a play-in game? Do you think it's effective? Do you think there's injury risk? How do you feel about that, Johnny?
I think that I wasn't too much of a fan of it when I first heard of the play-in tournament, but honestly, I think that it's a good idea because it was a wake-up call for a lot of teams.
Yeah.
And I feel like that was needed, especially for a team like the Celtics. They should have never been that low of a seed, especially in the Eastern Conference, with or without a Jaylen Brown. They still have a great enough team to still be a higher seed than just a 7. So I think it was a wake-up call for a lot of teams. And also sometimes lower seeds who don't necessarily become the favorites for becoming like the higher seeds, it gives them also more exhilarating feeling in terms of fighting for a higher spot.
Right.
I almost feel like college basketball in a sense, but like every game is exciting. So I think for both sides, for a team who was counted out, that's their chance to prove everybody wrong. And for a team that shouldn't be that low, that's a wake-up call for them. So although it's not the most popular thing in the world, I think that it's a good look, and it puts players in a position that say, hey, we don't want to do this play-in tournament, so we need to get our stuff together so we're not in this position.
Yeah, definitely fair. How about you, Chris?
Oh, the play-in tournament, man, I love it. I know. I heard LeBron loved it, then I heard LeBron didn't love it. But you know what? I love it.
Yeah, that's right. He did support it, or support the idea of it, like in theory early on, right? Yeah.
Right. It makes sense. Honestly, it makes sense now. Of course, it made sense in the midst of the pandemic to begin because there's so many less games. You just want to see if somebody can get a chance to get in. Now, this time, still shortened games. You want to see if somebody gets a chance to get in. But for me, I think we got to keep it because like the last day of the season, we're still watching basketball. Like the last week of the season, we're probably not watching ball anymore. You know what I mean? Like it's over. You got Anthony Simons coming in getting 30, and you got somebody who's probably not another person who's just probably going to be in the league for like that year coming in giving you 50 in fantasy points, blessing somebody up, and then gone. But like you have your stars, you have everybody competing, you have people trying to rest, so it's very exciting. I think it keeps everything going on for a while. And hey, honestly, I don't know that the Wizards probably be in the playoffs without the play-in idea because they wouldn't have been playing as hard the whole season.
Right. And let's kind of segue into last night because I actually had the Wizards. Let me pull up the bracket here so I don't get anything wrong. I actually had the Wizards doing a lot better than they did. I knew they were gonna lose, but I have them winning this next game. But the way they was looking, me and Johnny bet a little bit on this Wizards Pacers game, but they kind of got me worried. I think the main takeaway from last night's game was obviously Bill's hamstring isn't right.
Yeah.
I didn't actually know that. They don't really show Wizards regular season stuff, so maybe it just got lost in a bunch of other MVP talk and stuff like that. I didn't like. I knew he was resting because of something, but I didn't know it was that. Like he was actually hobbling on the court a little bit. So that definitely played a factor. But even with that, I don't know. I felt like Russell Westbrook's game wasn't all there. I don't know.
Yeah.
Did y'all hear or see anything? How did y'all feel about the Wizards' performance last night?
Man, Westbrook, I love you, Wes. I love you. When I was in good shape, I had the high cheekbones. They used to call me Baby Westbrook. But let me just say something real quick, man. I think Westbrook. It's like you gotta die with Westbrook. I'm not gonna lie, you gotta die with him. Like you gotta, because he goes to war every single day. He's coming in, he's giving it his all. I think sometimes the problem I have with Westbrook, the reason why unfortunately I didn't want him to come to the Knicks, although I love his game, was just I think that sometimes he's very unpredictable. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Like he might come in with the triple-double, game winner. He might come in not able to hit the side of the backboard really, and then it's like, but he's going hard all the time.
Right.
So that's the kind of like I kind of find it hard putting my eggs in that basket with Westbrook. As much as I love him, man, I think he's a dog. It just one game. This is like college. You know what I mean? One game, you got one chance, one game. Yeah. Westbrook, of all the players, as much as I love him, I think he's a Hall of Famer. I just believe that it's hard to get behind the unpredictability of Westbrook at times.
Yeah. Okay. And we're gonna take a short break right after. I'll let you respond to that, Johnny, and then we'll take a short break. Not an actual break, but I explained it to you. But yeah, how'd you feel about Westbrook and the Wizards? Like I said, if I'm putting money down, I still got the Wizards beating the Pacers, but Beal's leg is gonna be the determining factor for me. I feel like if he could get a good 20-25 minutes, I feel like that should be enough. But the Pacers were looking dominant. I mean, the Hornets didn't stand a chance. So
yeah, and I think Chris definitely hit it on the nail. Is that Westbrook is his gameplay is so amazing, but it's so sporadic. Like you can see a 45, 19, 21 night and Wizards winning by 5, or you can see like a 0 for 5 in the first quarter, and it's hard to rally behind him. But for me, even with the Wizards and you have Beal and Westbrook, they make the game exciting. But even Westbrook playing at his highest basketball capacity,
right,
and Beal playing at his highest, it just makes the game competitive, but it doesn't put them in a position to actually win, because they have so many other pieces that are non-existent in terms when it comes to being competitive. Yeah. So they would literally have to have the best game of their lives just to make it a competitive game. That's why we've seen in the past Wizards games. I mean, how many times you look up in the morning, you say the Wizards scored 156 points. They have to put up a lot of points in order to make it competitive. But in order to win, I mean, you need more than those guys. So I think that even the game, just to make it competitive, they kind of fell under the radar of what we've seen that they've done in the past. So it was a good game, but overall, it just wasn't enough. And you could see it.
Yeah, this is Let's Be Real, sports talk and entertainment with Tajri Russell, Elevation 5280 Sports. We'll be right back with you. Elevation 5280 Sports, Let's Be Real, sports talk with Tajri Russell. Thank you all for being here. 2 great guests today. We're just chopping it up about the NBA season. the Wizards, they're not looking too hot versus their matchup against the Pacers. I don't know. So Johnny, do you think it's more like the Pacers have more team chemistry and the Wizards just they don't have that chemistry team wise? Because I personally feel like Westbrook. I feel like Westbrook would in the OKC days would go out there with whoever would put up maximum effort and could get an upset on a team like the Pacers, because I don't see a dominant, like I said, I don't see a dominant scoring option for the Pacers. So I feel like if Westbrook just has 4 guys that will put in the effort, Hachimura, some other guys that will just put in effort, he'll carry them there at least through the playing game. That's what I was thinking. What I'll say, I don't feel like Bradley Beal needed to be 100% to make it through the playing game. And that's only because maybe it's just me. I don't really respect anyone, offensively on the Pacers. And watching the game, they were spreading the ball around. Guys were hitting shots. But when you need a basket, who's the go-to guy on the Pacers?
Mm. But that's the thing. That's what makes teams like that so deadly. Because I think a lot of times people are like, oh, well, it's at a fault for them not having a go-to guy, but they have a lot of guys on their team that can get you a basket. Brogdon has shown, like, where the heck did that come from before?
Yeah.
Has shown that. So that's the scary part about it. It's chemistry, but the fact that there's more than 2 guys that can get you that bucket is a scary thing. And I think that even though Westbrook's game didn't necessarily change, sometimes different teams cause different mindsets. He could have a totally different mindset with being on the Wizards, more calm and composed, or just wants to have fun, or maybe he just kind of wants to slow the reins and give more to Beal. We don't know, but we definitely sometimes we don't see like that sense of urgency on OKC. When we saw toward the latter years where it's just him, he was going out there like on a mission, like he was trying to prove somebody wrong.
Right.
Everybody counted him out. At this point, he doesn't really care about the critics. So the game may stay the same, but the mindset is different. So I think for the Pacers, for their advantage is the fact that they have more than one guy that can get you that basket. So they play to their chemistry. They play by great coaching. And what makes them deadly and scary on the floor against any team.
Yeah, no, I feel that. I mean, good luck to the. Did you want to say something, Chris? Or?
I do want to say something. I know.
Yeah. Go ahead. Yeah.
I did mention Westbrook being very unpredictable. I mean, his effort's not unpredictable, but just the output. But I do want to go on record saying this. I absolutely think the Wizards are going to win
against the Pacers.
For sure. I think he's unpredictable, but I'm not betting against Westbrook because that day when he does show up, which he usually does, sometimes you have those games. It's a 4-game series sometimes, or here it's just a 1-game series. I didn't expect them to beat the Celtics. People forget. Like I honestly feel like that Celtics team is not trash. Kemba Walker, shiftiest player in the league, if you ask me. Maybe not best handles. Kyrie has the best handles. Kemba Walker is the shiftiest player in the league. By far, like his knees are on the ground. Yeah, you can't stay. His knees are on the ground on his crossover. Kemba Walker would snap anybody's ankles. That dude's a killer. He's clutch. Jason Tatum more moves than a U-Haul. Like what I mean. Like Jason Tatum is 22 years old, ready to be a superstar. That's done for. Marcus Smart, if you ask me, one of the best jack of all trades in the league. You know what I mean? Does everything. So he's still there. Robert Williams
honestly
got hurt.
I honestly, not to cut you off, but to add on to that, I honestly felt like after LeBron left the East, the Celtics should have been the best team.
They should have.
I really felt like that. So they're honestly, as good as everybody is, they've really been letting me down. I don't know if it's Brad Stevens. I know they had a bit of a transition off a Kyrie type of phase, but but even with the injuries, okay, like they just picked up a Evan Fournier, but Tatum, Jaylen Brown, Kemba. I know they needed a center for a while. They were playing tights at center, so they picked up a Tristan Thompson. Like I don't know, even this season, it's like
Injuries.
I just feel like it's injuries. Okay.
Injuries, because I thought I said that I went on record saying last year that they were going to beat, they were going to go, they were going to win the East.
Yeah.
Gordon Hayward got injured. That messed him up. When he got injured,
That threw off
I
the
didn't
chemistry. Yeah, I remember
exactly.
that. Yeah.
And then he came back and he wasn't ready yet. Like he's ready this year, and then he got hurt again. He's playing with some people's money. He's getting a lot of
But
money.
they said that's what because they said there was a locker room dispute about Hayward. Because at the time Jalen was coming off the bench.
Yeah.
I think it was probably Jalen mostly that was like, I might be better than this dude.
Mm-hmm.
Which he is.
But Brad Stevens was still starting Hayward at the time. So
Yeah.
and then on top of that, there was the whole locker room stuff with Kyrie prior to that. So I feel like there's just been a lot of internal, like injury is definitely a part of it. I just feel like there's been like internal stuff, and I don't know if it's Brad Stevens. I don't know if it's because they have a bunch of young guys. They don't really have a vet there. Yeah. I don't know what it is, but I felt like they should have been, after LeBron left, it should have been Celtics won, and then you could debate between the Sixers and the Bucks. But
you could definitely see a shift of leadership in terms of who should have the reins when Kyrie was there, because everybody still felt that Tatum should have been that guy. So once Kyrie left, and then the chemistry with Hayward, it made it tough. And now it's just kind of like, okay, the Celtics are getting their stuff together, and then it's injuries, and then now you see the Nets. So
right,
over,
over. It's tough.
It's true. It's a mixture.
So let's get on to tonight. We need to lock these in. Who y'all got? Lakers, Warriors.
Let go.
Who y'all got?
The GOAT.
I have to agree with Chris. Although in my head I could really see that this could potentially be, if not one of, but his greatest game of all time, Curry's greatest game of all time. I would not be surprised if I saw a career high 16 threes. It's like we've seen some stuff. I would not be surprised. Curry putting up 70-something points.
All right. To say that could happen, that's one thing. But to say you wouldn't be surprised, if Curry went off and smoked the Lakers, you wouldn't be surprised. Okay. As many defenders as the Lakers have, none of them could.
Exactly.
All right, I would definitely.
You wouldn't be surprised,
but I think given LeBron's track record, I can't go against him.
That's fair. That's fair. I was just checking you on that because you said I wouldn't be surprised, and I was like, what?
Yeah.
Like this isn't like, I mean, they're debating Curry for MVP. I think Jokic should win it hands down. But this isn't that Curry, that MVP Curry. You know what I'm saying? Like he's first of all, the team is terrible defensively. And the Lakers are gonna play big ball, and I don't know what the Warriors are gonna do. I think they have I don't think they have any 7-footers except for the guy they drafted, but he's not playing. So I don't know what they're, if you have Drummond, AD, LeBron, I don't know. They can't play with it. Yeah, so I it's always possible for Curry to be Curry, but I feel like the game's gonna go like this. I feel like Curry is gonna score. If Curry doesn't have 30 by half, they lose it.
Yeah, agreed.
Game's over.
And he's not gonna get more than 35 this game, honestly. And I know he's been getting 40 and everything, but this Lakers defense is not defense.
If Curry doesn't,
I don't think he's getting 30.
Yeah, he gotta have close to 25, 30 by half.
It's not half. I'm going Curry for 28.
28.
I'm going for that. The defense of the Lakers is nothing to play with, so I'm just gonna go with 28 for Curry, and they're gonna get smacked by like.
Look. I've seen Batum, Kawhi, and George all huddle Curry, and somehow he split that defense. Got an and-1-3 from logo range. So
Curry's Curry, man. Curry going Curry.
Now you know what would be interesting. They're not going to do this, right? But it would be interesting if they made LeBron, if they played with the pick and rolls and made LeBron guard Curry.
Oh no, they did not. They did.
LeBron,
They-
LeBron not gonna, this that
They're
that is
not gonna do it, but it's more so LeBron. He knows how to avoid getting matched up on the best scorer. Like if you watch him, like he'll float away, he'll point, tell somebody else to move up. Like but I feel like if I'm Steve Kerr, that would be the strat. At the very least, to get LeBron tired. At the very least, because now AD has to beat us. You know what I mean? Now it's between like AD and Wiggins, really. You know what I'm saying? To really see, but I don't want LeBron to be. So if LeBron's playing defense on his bum ankle and then got to go carry the offensive load, like I'd play with that. But they're not gonna do that. But that's
let's not ignore the fact that because they have Drummond, the Lakers are going to get a lot of second chance points.
Right.
Drummond
second, third, fourth.
Yeah, Drummond and AD in the paint grabbing rebounds. I don't, you know what I mean? Now, KCP might actually afford to be called Caldwell Poop. Because of Drummond. He could afford.
Come on, man. Don't play KCP like that.
They've been playing with that two guard position for a while, but I think he's their best one, right?
No, for sure, man. That's who I think gets the Curry assignment tonight. And that's why I said him and Wes Matthews are gonna wear Curry down, and all they gotta do is bump him a little bit. You know what I mean? You probably get a couple fouls or whatever. Just keep bumping him. Now Curry's gonna get his buckets.
Yeah.
He's probably gonna get 30.
That's why I will play with it because I'm trying to have LeBron chase Curry around.
They're not. LeBron is not. LeBron ain't running out of ankles with the ankle snatcher.
I'm saying no. They're gonna they would just switch every time. I mean, not switch. They would just trade off every time.
Taj,
they try to do that.
Taj, if this was 2K, I would side with you 100%. But
no. Not even 2K. I'm just going off of the ankle and AD being hit or miss.
Mm-hmm.
Like those are the two things. Like 2K. Injury, not really, I can't be like LeBron got a bad. LeBron will have the injured symbol and still tomahawk on you.
Yeah, exactly. LeBron had the injured single until tomahawk on you in real life.
Well, yeah. But I was just thinking like, okay, even if it's not Curry, whoever they got Jordan Poole, Wiggins, whoever. I mean, LeBron is gonna guard the worst offensive player. He's gonna. I don't know who it's gonna be. I don't think
he's gonna guard Draymond.
Per Draymond, yeah, because Draymond just standing the court. So I don't know. I just need LeBron moving on defense. I just need him putting Miles on the ankle. That's kind of what I'm thinking. And this is, I don't know if this is a football mentality, because the way football works is if I know you have an injury, I'm gonna test that injury during game. If I know something's up with your ankle, now football is a bit more physical, but I'm kicking, I'm stepping. Like I'm falling by accident. Oh, it's falling to your ankle. Like that's stuff we do in football. If we see you got a cast on for no reason, we hitting your cast whenever we can, just randomly. Like that's football thinking. So that might be considered dirty in basketball. I don't know, but that's
in the 90s it wasn't.
Yeah, right.
In the 90s it wasn't.
But also let's not forget that LeBron takes in effect there the second game plan if he's not able to be there on the floor.
Well, isn't that AD?
Yeah, I mean it's AD, but what I'm saying is that LeBron, I think, prepares himself in terms of having a game plan for what's best for them, whether he's on the floor or not. And essentially, if LeBron's not on the floor, I'm looking at a better Pelican squad. With maybe a watered down Boogie with Drummond, only because
only
because he's not good as Boogie was on the Pelicans in terms of offense. On defense, I do believe he's a better defender. So I think it's still interesting and it's still a tough team to beat even without LeBron, but ultimately it's just too much. It's going to be too much for the Warriors. So
all right. Let's see. If I'm putting money down, I don't think the upset will happen here. Like LeBron's still looking good on his bad ankle, so I will have to also go with the Lakers, but it's going to be entertaining. If Curry proves all three of us wrong, we're gonna have to do another show.
Yeah,
Just talk
down,
about.
man.
We're gonna have to
Look,
do another one.
I'm down, man.
But yeah, Elevation 5280 Sports. Let's be real with Tajri Russell, Sports Talk and Entertainment Show. We'll be right back. This is Elevation 5280 Sports. Let's be real, Sports Talk with Tajri Russell. Thank you all for being with us today. Two great guests, Chris and Johnny today. Hey, follow their social media handles. We got, I think that's your IG for both of those.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So let me zoom in on those. But for those of you that are listening that can't necessarily see, y'all know me, Trust Sports, on IG and Trust Picks on Twitter. So hit me up, tell me what you thought about the episode. You can follow Chris at Good Reporters on IG and follow Johnny at _call-him-J. For those of you that are listening, I can't see the visuals. But yeah, give these guys, they have great content, great engagement. So give these guys a follow. I think it will be definitely an educational experience if you do. Let's get into the next matchup for tonight. So that we could the next matchup for tonight. I keep thinking the games start at 4 because the Eastern game started at 4. So I'm like, we got to catch the games, but they start at like 7 and 9. The other game for tonight is Grizzlies and Spurs. I honestly have the Spurs beating the Grizzlies. And that's only off of the experience of DeMar DeRozan and Greg Popovich in critical moments versus the Grizzlies, who none of them have the experience in critical moments. I think they, Ja Morant's talented, but I think it takes, obviously, like we said with the Pacers, it takes a team effort when you get to these postseason games. And I don't know if Ja, as a sophomore, he's not a rookie, as a sophomore, in a postseason, you don't want to be greedy and take every shot, but at the same time, you want to do enough to keep your team in it, and it's hard to find that balance that early because Ja's the guy. Whereas with the Spurs, Popovich, he's gonna tell you first quarter, second quarter is the game plan, that's the situation, give the ball to this. Like nobody's wondering what their role is, what their responsibilities are, if I should play harder, if I should play. And if anything, you have DeRozan, who I don't know who on the Grizzlies is guarding him one-on-one. DeJounte Murray's been great. They were holding me down in fantasy for months. They were holding me down.
Oh, DeJounte, man.
So I honestly have the Spurs winning. Do any one of you have the Grizzlies winning?
Well, you
Do any one of you have the Grizzlies winning?
You know earlier in the conversation, I was rolling with Ja.
What?
That's rookie of the year. I understand Popovich. I was definitely biased to it, but I think that the Grizzlies could cause an upset. I wouldn't be surprised.
Okay, see, this wouldn't be surprised of who do you have? Who do you have?
I'm gonna take the Grizzlies.
You gonna take the Grizzlies? Okay.
Take the Grizzlies for the upset.
Okay. Grizzlies for the upset. Now at least like John needs help, right? So who do you think's gonna step up? Or you think it's gonna be a team effort? Or?
I think ultimately it's gonna be a team effort.
Okay.
Because when it comes on the side of the Spurs, even though DeMar DeRozan has shown that he's ready for pressure, he can't afford to have a bad game. He has he is the floor general. DeJounte Murray's gonna get his. He's young. He's athletic, and I think he has like a great relationship with Pop. But DeMar DeRozan has to take leadership. If not, the team in itself looks like a lost sheep. The Grizzlies have great chemistry. So once again, it's like when a team has great chemistry, anybody could go off at any time. But the Spurs game plan, you can't plan for Popovich, but you know who all the pressure is on the Spurs.
Yeah. No, that's fair. I mean, what's your thoughts on that, Chris?
All right, man. So here it comes. I'm about to get real technical on y'all right here. This is the basketball mind of everything. As a basketball connoisseur myself, I would like to say this: Ja Morant, I love you. I have a bit of an issue, just a little bit, because I feel like Ja Morant has made some very bold statements as of late. He said he's top 5 point guards after probably scoring 8, 5, and 6 and being on my fantasy team at that time. I was a part of that. Like, I had you, and then you had 8, 5, and 6, or something along those lines. And so I traded for Ja Morant in fantasy basketball because I truly believe in Ja Morant. I think Ja Morant's a dog. I think Ja Morant's a killer. I think he's a winner. This is why he has a chance. But he's been showing me he's just been too, at this point in his career, he's just having too many games where he's not coming out with his foot on the gas pedal at all times. I went to go see Ja Morant play. I went to a Nets versus Grizzlies game when they wasn't all that. And that's only because I wanted to watch Ja Morant play. And when I went there, he looked like he was playing halfway. Like,
wait. Slow down. Did you just say you went to a Nets game with a Knicks jersey? You gotta take the shirt off.
I went to scouts and watched Ja Morant. Like,
aren't there rules about this kind of stuff? You can't just go to a Nets game with a
look, man. As a basketball connoisseur,
who's the New York City police for this stuff? We need rules here.
As a basketball connoisseur, man. Look.
For me.
Man. I'm not a Nets fan. Let's just throw that out there. I want the Nets to lose very badly this year. But let's just make it clear. I went to go see Ja, and I was like, you know what, the dude's nice. I'm about to go see him body somebody. And I got there, and he honestly, they blew him out, but like he played so like he was chilling. And then he posted the other night, locked in to come play Steph Curry. He posted it on his story, locked in, came and got cooked by Curry badly and didn't do as much as I wanted him to do. Don't get it twisted, though. I believe in Ja Morant, and I think that he has the power to 30, 10, 12 on their head to in this game. So that's why I give them a chance. But if you look at Greg Popovich, let's get smart again. Greg Popovich, man, he shut down LeBron in playoffs because he knows how to orchestrate a defense to set. And Ja Morant can't really shoot that well right now. So he knows exactly how to do it to LeBron. He knows how to do it to Ja. And so I don't think Ja's going to have a really good game, and I think they're going to lose.
But also, I think that it's not fair to hold the Curry matchup against him because some of the best players in the league, no matter how they play, good game, bad game, Curry going to cook you regardless. Yeah. He going to cook everything. So it's everybody in the Curry pot.
Look, I ain't saying he can't get cooked by Curry. That's not his fault per se. That's Curry. Curry's cooking. He wasn't just scoring on him. Dillon Brooks was guarding Curry most of the game too, if you really look at it. So it's not really Ja Morant. It's just don't put locked in your story before you play Curry and then let him get so much points and then you don't do as well as you really could or really should. Dillon Brooks almost brought them back to the victory, not Ja Morant. And that's what I have a problem.
I'm gonna
you know what it is?
Rookie,
go ahead.
For a reason.
Go ahead.
Yeah, the reason was that Zion was injured. So, I love Ja. Look, I love Ja. It's just, I'm just saying, I want to see more from him.
No. I personally think that the one weakness that I don't think Greg Popovich could kind of coach around is, as you mentioned, Ja Morant isn't the best shooter. I don't know his percentages, but it's probably around 30, I'm guessing, because from 3 I'm talking. Because of that, the one weakness that the Spurs might have is they don't have a rim protector. And it's annoying watching. If you watch Spurs games, teams are attacking the basket. And the Spurs have a lot of great. The Spurs have some athletes. Like they have a lot of all around guys. Like DeRozan, DeJounte Murray, Lonnie Walker, Keldon Johnson.
Big
they have
Keldon.
Yeah, they have a lot of all around multi-purpose guys. So I don't know if Popovich is trying to adopt that like Jerry West 6'9", ideology where it's like I need everybody to be 6'8", 6'9", and we'll just switch everything. And I don't know if he's trying to do that type of thing, but I think Podol is their starting center.
Yeah,
and he's more of a finesse, like he'll give you a hook shot, he'll give you, but he's not he's not on defensively. He's not. He's just not a
Yeah.
stopper like that. So John Morant is gonna have a lot of open lanes and a lot of and ones. He's gonna get to the free throw line, I imagine. So that could be, if anything, enough to get his motor revving, and if he keeps doing that for the whole game, maybe the confidence builds, and then who knows. But because you're not really gonna stay in front of him.
Can I say
so
something?
Maybe they'll zone him. I don't know what they're gonna do, but yeah.
Let me say something. He gonna have to get past DeJounte Murray. DeJounte Murray is no defensive scrub. DeJounte Murray was first team all defense, wasn't he? Like a year ago, 2 years ago, before he got hurt, or was it after? Before he got hurt, DeJounte Murray is not defensive scrub. So
I don't know. You could solve that with a pick, right?
You could solve that with a pick, but then you got to remember who you're playing. This is Spurs, so like you said, they have a lot.
They do have a lot of. They have a lot of good
big men.
defenders.
They don't got a lot of rim protection, but they know this, like the defensive strategy, just the same way. Like you watch the Knicks, we don't have the greatest defenders, but we have a defensive coach in Tom Thibodeau, and so you get switched. Yeah, you gotta get screened. The NBA is all about pick and roll, pick and pop, and all that stuff. So you're gonna get hit. But they know how to switch off that. They know how to play it down. You know how to play Ja Morant. You know to drop a little bit in your coverage to give him that jump shot, so you have a little bit of space back behind you. And then right now it's playoff intensity. They're not calling as much fouls, so Ja Morant is gonna have to live off of floaters, and he could hit those. So like like I said, I believe in Ja, but it's just hard because if I saw him do it to LeBron James, it's hard for me to say that he's not gonna do it to the same thing to Ja Morant. Let him shoot all day and hope he kills you that way.
But also, taking the fact and Taj mentioned this is the fact that the lack of big men in the paint for the Spurs. You can account for DeJounte Murray being a great defender because he is a great defender.
Yes,
but you got to account for those second chance points. Valanciunas is a great rebounder.
He's a problem.
So people don't talk about him, but you got to talk about Brandon Clark. Brandon Clark, he's a great all-around player, and he's super athletic, and that definitely helps when it comes to grabbing boards along with Valanciunas. So it's very hard for DeJounte to stay with Morant if you have a whole bunch of big men getting rebounds, because DeJounte has to look around for where Ja is for the rebound, and Ja's too quick to sneak in and get those baskets. And like I said, the Grizzlies are not the greatest shooting team, but they've shown that they got a couple guys that can knock down that open.
They have guys that could get hot, definitely.
So that's gonna make it interesting. So I'm going for the upset, man.
You know the upset there? Okay,
I do it, bro.
I can't. I don't know. I personally feel like Greg Popovich is coach of the year every year.
He's the greatest coach.
He no matter what he has, they make the playoffs, and they wouldn't have made it this year if it wasn't for the play-in. Like they'd already be out. I think they're either 9th or 10th. But he's always in. He's always in the mix. I don't know how he does it. So it's gonna be interesting. I'm definitely. It sounds like me and Chris are going with the Spurs, and Johnny's going for the upset there. I mean, overall, thing like I said, the play-in's great for TV. It's great for conversation. We're gonna dabble a little bit, and let's just project a little bit into the future. I'm gonna bring up the bracket here again because there are actual playoffs coming up. And so after all of this is said and done, we have a couple things to get into, and I know it's kind of small for viewers that are actually watching. But I have a bigger version next to me that I'm gonna look at because I'm a cheat here. So let's assume Memphis, or let's assume the Spurs, just because it's 2-3 right now. Let's assume the Spurs, they go on and beat Memphis. That would put the winner of that versus the loser of Lakers and Warriors. Do we have the Spurs or Grizzlies beating the Lakers or the Warriors?
No chance.
No or no.
Ever. Not.
I thought Spurs Warriors could be an upset there.
Nah.
They gotta win 2 games, man. They'd have to win 2 games. All right, that's how that goes.
No, it's do or die at that point if it comes down to. Yeah.
I thought that the 9th seed and the 10th seed, then they play the 8th seed that whoever's the winner of that, I mean, the loser of the AC, I thought that's like a 2-game that they got to win 2 games and the AC don't got to win 1. That's not how it go.
Is it? I mean, I could be wrong there. Because even with the well, I guess we'll find out. Yeah, I could be wrong there. I thought it was just do or die. I thought it was 1 game at that point.
I say this,
but
if it is, then the Warriors. If it's do or die, then the Warriors have a chance to lose only to the Spurs.
Okay.
The Lakers have a chance to lose to nobody. If it's not do or die, then I think the seeds stay exactly the same as it is on both conferences.
Because 2 games. What if they split it? There'll be a game 3.
Mm-hmm. It'll be like the final game. Like from what I remember,
that's tough.
The Spurs
Yeah,
have to win 2. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So if it's 1-1, they still get eliminated, maybe.
Yeah, if the Warriors win the first one, it's over. But if the Spurs win the first one, there's another one, and then
there's
whoever
one
wins
more.
that one.
Wow.
That's what I mean. That's how it was last year before the 7 and 8 thing. 7, 8, 9, 10 thing.
Yeah, I remember. Okay. Yeah, I could be wrong on that. So
I could be wrong too.
But we'll find out. We'll find out tomorrow actually. With Wizards and Pacers. But yeah, so let's project a little bit more into the future. The playoff lineup, I'm gonna just run through it really quick for the West. The playoff lineup for the West would be we'd have Utah versus Warriors, 1 versus 8. We'd have Phoenix versus Lakers. We'd have Clippers versus Dallas. We'd have Denver versus Portland. That's in the West. And any thoughts on any of those matchups, just real quick?
I would say, of course, with Dame being my favorite play, I gotta start off about the places. I think that's going to be very interesting because Dame did show why he's the dollar. When he beat the Nuggets, and now they got no Jamal Murray, so I think that's gonna be I think that's gonna be easy for Portland, even though you got Jokic in the MVP without Jamal Murray. That's gonna be tough.
Real quick here. This is Let's Be Real with Tajri Russell. Thank you all for being with me. Let's Be Real with Tajri Russell. Thank you all for being here. Just wrapping up some playoff conversation. But you were saying, that would be tough.
That would be tough, but
for the Nuggets, yeah.
But I think that the Blazers definitely got it on that. Anytime that I can cheer against the Clippers, I take it. Luka Doncic hitting the step back over Reggie with Kawhi and George off in the distance, and Mike Breen saying bang. It's gonna play over in my head every game 1, game 2, game 3, game. So I got to, and I love seeing Luka play, and then healthy Porzingis. I mean,
but in a 4 out of 7 series, you think the Mavs can beat the Clippers 4 times? You got to beat them 4 times.
I mean, we could either see playoff P or PG 13%, and we don't we don't know. We gotta see what that looks like. A lot of pressure is on the Clippers, and if the Clippers don't pull it out this season, I mean, I don't know. Do we need a GoFundMe or something, because it's unacceptable.
Well, I just you didn't mention the X factor. I feel like the X factor is Porzingis, right?
But that's what a healthy
the S factor is like. Porzingis is a matchup problem offensively, defensively. If he's hot, I don't think we've ever seen Porzingis hot for a whole playoff series.
No. And also, sorry,
and this might only be because I don't think he ever in the playoffs on the Knicks. I don't think so.
No.
Unfortunately, no.
So this is only his second playoff series.
But also, don't forget, you remember that bogus
play-in.
That bogus call in the bubble when Porzingis got ejected.
Yeah.
Myself, along with others, he said that if Porzingis would have played the rest of that game and not been ejected, I'd have had the Mavs to upset the Clippers.
Okay.
So
Could have
we
done it last year.
the X factor. I'm saying if Porzingis is healthy throughout the whole series, and I'm gonna pray he is, because I want a healthy series from every team. Shout out to Embiid, pray for his knees. But if he's healthy, I could definitely see the Mavs upsetting, and I'm gonna call for a game 7. So
Okay. Chris, any thoughts on I mean you can respond to that, and then any thoughts on anything on the West?
I'm gonna go ahead and say that the Clippers last year could have been upset by this team. The Clippers this year have no chance of losing. To them, anyway. To the Lakers, for sure. To the Jazz, I thought the Jazz if last year, if healthy, with Bogdanovich, is it Bogdan Bojan? With Bogdanovich,
Bogdan.
with Bogdanovich, they don't lose that series. I thought they would have happened. So if they play them this year, they're better this year. I don't think that they pass the Jazz. But that's it. Lakers or Jazz. The Mavericks, as much as I like them, as much as I'm in on Richardson and his defense, as much as I'm in on Luka Doncic, and I think honestly Luka Doncic is the only player, in my opinion, right now playing that has a chance to be in that conversation between LeBron James, Michael Jordan, GOAT conversation down the line.
Wow.
Only player there. That's a big statement. Like over Giannis,
we'll have that conversation
Tatum.
A different day.
That's a whole other one. But I say Luka Doncic is. I mean, he's like this. You know what I mean? You watch Luka Doncic play, it don't even look like, if you're not a real ball player, you don't really realize what he's doing. But the dude he's brilliant. So I think he could get a game or two. I don't think they beat them. They just don't have enough talent. Luka shouldn't even be here. That team is not really as talented as the Clippers by any means. So I think the Clippers win.
Okay.
The West, the Lakers, man. Lakers versus Suns. I didn't want it to go down like that, man. I did not want it to go down like that. I didn't want to see the Suns lose in the first round.
The Suns have been balling out.
If they play them in the first round, then it's over for them. They have no chance. Honestly, I think they have no chance. And I mean, honestly, that Lakers, in my opinion, it's Lakers to the finals, and that's just how it's gonna go.
I honestly, here's my bold statement. If things shake out how we think they're gonna shake out in the play-in tournament, and the Lakers and Golden State get that 7th and 8th spot for the playoffs, I think the Warriors could beat Utah.
I said the same thing. That's true.
The Warriors could beat Utah.
That's true.
I don't know when's the last time an 8th seed beat the first seed, but if they, I don't know. All right, so this is how I see it playing out. Right, Curry is so mad that he lost to LeBron that the next game he plays, he's like, "Yo, I'm going crazy." Like that's kind of how I see it play. Like if Curry has a bad game against the Lakers. You know, I feel like the next game, which is going to be the first game 1 of the first round, I feel like he's going to go crazy, and that's really going to set the tone. I'll put it like this: if they don't get those first 2 home wins, I don't. It's going to be scary. It's going to be scary.
And Utah has they have this tendency that if they don't have a good push in their own like home, when they get off the road, you just look at them. It's almost like a Space Jam moment. Like the player tendencies and the talents just kind of like leave their body, and they're like kind of in the distance. But
I don't know. I think I'll disagree with that when it comes to Mitchell. I feel like Mitchell, and I'm biased. I'm biased since Dirk Nowitzki retired. Donovan Mitchell's been my new favorite player, but I just feel like Mitchell needs help. I just he's always given max effort. I just feel like he needs help. Maybe Clarkson will step up. I'm gonna run through the East really quick. If the play-in, we don't know what's gonna happen with Pacers and Indy. For argument's sake, let's say Indy wins against the. I mean, I'm sorry, I said Pacers and Indy. Wizards and Pacers. Let's say the Pacers win that out. It would be if I'm looking at that, it would be Philly versus the Pacers. We'd have Boston Celtics, Milwaukee, Miami, and Knicks and Atlanta. Any thoughts on those real quick?
Milwaukee, Miami, and Knicks and ATL. It's funny. I'm not a Knicks fan. I stated,
Okay.
but I just want to see the Knicks win just because of Stephen A.
Hey.
He said, "Brooklyn, what? Brooklyn, Julius Randle." So I want to see, and also the Knicks haven't been in the playoffs since 2013.
Yeah.
But I think overall, like the Knicks, their chemistry this season, I mean, is it's amazing. I mean, Trey's the orchestrator, so he has to. I know Bogdan's been killing in fantasy, but real life is another.
Nah, man, stop it. Come on, Mike. He's been balling in
Jeez.
real life too. He been putting in work.
Jeez.
Joking, I'm
Ever
joking.
ever since he got back, he been putting in work. He basically took the starter role from was it
Herder.
Collins? Herder, yeah, from Herder. He
Yeah, but
basically took the starting job. He was coming off the bench.
he's definitely been doing his thing, and I think that the Atlanta's game is too predictable. So I feel like it's
That's
enough.
fair.
I
Okay.
feel like it's enough for the
Okay.
Knicks to stop. The Knicks are so unpredictable. Like Rose could jump in a time machine for one game, and we're like, where did that come from? Julius Randle could go off and give you a good, I don't know, like 38 and 12. Like anything could happen with that team. And I think once again, when you have so many players that can get you a bucket at any time, that's
Yeah.
scary. Chris, I'll let you comment on the Knicks because we got a Knicks fan in the house.
I'm a Knicks fan by residency. So like
Oh.
growing up, I like to see the Knicks do well. But my listeners know I'm actually a long suffering Orlando Magic fan. So
Ooh.
yeah, it's we're rebuilding off the rebuild. So
Ooh.
I don't.
Yeah.
It's going to be another 10 years or so before I see.
No. Y'all won't be
Orlando
long
miss
suffering
one.
this year. Not in this draft. Y'all not gonna be long suffering.
I hope
Y'all can
not.
get your hands on Jalen Green. Y'all, Cade Hunter, y'all be just fine.
So
Yeah.
Chris, who's your X factor on
In the
the Knicks
Knicks,
series? In this,
who's my X factor? RJ Barrett. Are
keep the
you
nine.
kidding me? Are you kidding me? Come on, RJ Barrett's the X factor, man. I mean, this is his first playoff. The kid's 20 years old. The dude is built like he's been in the league for like 10
Yeah.
years.
Yeah.
He's gotten so much better, man. Like, and he's going to continue to get so much better. RJ Barrett, to me, a very underrated passer. When he came in the first beginning of his career, they were thinking, okay, little tunnel vision. He's getting better with that, but that's going to happen with time. The game slows down. He's shooting 40% from the 3-point line. You know what I mean? The dude, you can't guard him in the paint. They say only goes left. You force him to the right, he's gonna go right, and he's gonna finish on you too. So don't do that.
He's a matchup problem.
He's a matchup issue, especially on that. The Bogdanovich can't hold him. Trae Young, don't put him on. Trae Young get on RJ Barrett. That's post source. That's cook poop. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that's done. I love Julius Randle. I believe he's gonna do what he does. Although in the clutch, I feel like sometimes he has a tendency to get turnovers, but he'll be fine. I'm not worried about him, and this will grow us. But RJ Barrett, he's an X factor. Reggie Bullock, I want to say Reggie, but he's gonna be consistent. I believe in him.
I'll throw you on. What about Burks? I know Burks has been injured, but when he's playing,
Alec Burks, our most consistent player. I've been saying that all year, man. I've been
who's? I know Rose is coming off the bench, right? He's not starting point. Who's starting?
Rose, no, comes off the bench.
Is it Quickly
I'd rather not talk about it.
Or Alfred?
It's
Alfred.
It's Alfred Payne.
Yeah, I took that off our hands. Well, he moved around a bit, but he was in Orlando for a while, and I was like, cut your hair, bro.
Yeah, and he did that, and I'm just like, go back to Orlando. Like I don't dislike Alfred Payne. I think a lot of people, if you don't, like I said, this is a basketball player. I could see the respect to have for Alfred Payne. He plays great defense. He gets into the paint. He makes tough finishes. His jump shot is pretty broke. I'm not gonna sit here and lie to y'all. His jump shot.
Yes.
His jump shot looked like my wallet in the pandemic, but he other than that, like no, Alfred Payne is a solid player. But I'm sorry, I'm trying to go starting Derrick Rose at this point. But the Derrick Rose and Quickly combination off that bench, oh man,
it's too risky. It's too risky special. Starting Rose.
It is. I mean, not really though. Not really. Just stay healthy.
Do you feel
healthy? Then throw him out.
think that the Knicks
Yeah.
will fill in the gap without Mitchell being there. Mitchell is actually my favorite to watch when healthy.
Yeah.
I heard.
Because you
I-
got to think they are going against some great big men in Atlanta. You got Capella, who's a great rebounder.
Yeah. Nerlens Noel.
It could be tough.
Nerlens Noel. My issue is this: that Obi Toppin. Well, he's not. I don't think he's quite ready on the. Well, he's getting better defensively. I just think Obi Toppin doesn't play enough. He played like 8.
Yeah,
10 minutes.
I think he
bothers me a
needs
lot.
to. I think he's gonna get traded ultimately.
I hope
Not because he's not talented, but
Just
at
his
the
position.
forward, at
Yeah.
the forward position, there's they got too many options.
Yeah, I hope not. I
so-
love Obi, man. I think Obi is so talented, bro. He's a great.
I was
passer.
definitely scouting him coming into the NBA. I was like, I think he's
great.
going to be a problem, but
He is.
so
Maybe not
yeah. So last thing I wanted to touch on a bit was this past fantasy season. And again, this is Let's Be Real with Tajri Russell, sports talk and entertainment show. But I wanted to talk about this fantasy season. Chris, congratulations.
Yes, sir.
Our fantasy champion for the year. And then pat on the back for myself for coming in second. Honestly, every time I matched up against Johnny, I could have lost. Like we looked at every matchup and I could have lost every single one. But something.
Look. Can I go first?
I don't know what it was. I don't know what it was. But every time we matched up, his team was perfect, and my team, if they weren't perfect, would have lost.
Look. Can I go first, man?
Yeah. Go ahead.
Listen to me. First of all, Chris, shout out to you. You know what I mean, for winning. So shout out to me for the trades, because not you. Because you know what I mean, I privilege y'all to be in y'all positions. You know, you welcome. But
I'll take it, man.
Well, first of all, definitely shout out to Taj for setting it up.
Right.
It was fun. It was the first time for pretty much all of us. I had a terrible draft, and I kicked myself for that. I did rush it, and I picked Devin Booker over Tatum and Kawhi. I just didn't. I overlooked him. It was incredibly bad. But I felt like I just had bad luck. I had bad luck, and Taj knows this, and I would take this with me to the grave. If Cat was playing that first time,
that first game.
And then the next round when I went against Sean, I was down by 50 points. He had no more players playing for that night. I had Sabonis and Kawhi playing. I only need 51 points to win.
Between the two of them, yeah.
That the Pacers and the Clippers were going against each other. The Clippers were winning by so much that Kawhi didn't play the fourth.
Damn.
And Indy was losing by so much, Sabonis didn't play the fourth. And I ended up losing. And I mean, the cycle just continued. I had a lot of bad trades, and everybody, for the most part, most of their team looked like the original. In the end, the only original player I had left was Sabonis. So it was a good experience, but shout out to me being in third place because Sean is not here on the call. I chose 5 because it was KG's, number in Boston. So that was my plan.
Okay.
So, but yeah, it was a great experience, and I learned a lot. And also, while we're on the call, Chris, congratulations for making it in the spot as the third commissioner. We welcome you in.
Yeah. Welcome to the decision making squad. It gets intense every now and then, so I hope you're ready. We'll have to coordinate how we're gonna keep the communication flowing. But Chris, what were your thoughts as a champion? What were your thoughts? What was your keys to success? Because you won it out at the end. So
Keys to success. Well, first and foremost, I appreciate y'all. Taj Day, thank you for creating this league. It was absolutely amazing, man. I appreciated that. Jay, for the trades.
I mean, I was waiting for it.
I heard you mention
some
it a couple
clutch
times. So I had to
trades.
throw that out there. Also, yeah, I felt like, well, and then for being a third commissioner, I mean, I appreciate y'all. I'm not gonna lie to y'all. I'm more of a RC Buford. You know what I mean? I'm more of a Sam Presti. But I'll take Adams. I'll be Adam Silver a little bit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
R.I.P. David Stern. I'll take that up for a little bit. But for me, keys to success, man. I mean, like I said, I'm a basketball connoisseur, and I just I watch it, and I made a mistake. I played fantasy one time before this. I've also made a mistake in this draft. I played fantasy one time before this, and when I played, my team was the worst team in the entire league. Why? I drafted off of potential. I was like, oh man, I know this dude right here. I watched him in college. I think he's going to be good. I see this guy right here. He had a solid season, but this person's out. I think he's going to play. Then they started signing people, and then it got worse. I'm like, all right, so I messed up. I played off potential. I'm like, oh, he has a really good game. I think he's going to be good in about a couple years. And I'm drafting him for this year. It was the worst thing I ever did. I got snapped up. This year, I was like, no. I gotta come in hot. So my main thing was getting Nikola Jokic because honestly, last year or the years before, I'm like, I never watched it. I'm like, Nikola Jokic has to be like top 2, top 3 fantasy players. And people are like, I mean, he's okay. And I'm like, nah, I'm sorry, I'm getting him. So I had a chance. I think it was Anthony Davis, Nikola Jokic, a couple other people. I said Jokic. I'm going Jokic. I got Jokic. He was number 1 in fantasy. Shout out to Jokic. You the real MVP in my eyes.
Yeah, he was,
in the season and in fantasy season. So that was like, yeah, for real. Like honestly, it was just like Jokic first and foremost. That was a big thing because that helped me a lot. And then honestly, it was just like, yo, I gotta get as many pieces that I could possibly get that I believe will truly also work with the system too. Like like it's the points and how it goes. Like, don't just pick up people because I like his game. Like I like Evan Fournier because he can score and that's all he's doing. I had to go about to see how it was looking and what's the numbers like. That was kind of my strategy.
Okay. Yeah, and it's great that everybody was pretty much rookie. I've played NFL fantasy for years, but I never played NBA. So I kind of got the gist of how fantasy worked. Even in a basketball setting, it's different. Because football, you only get offensive players and then a whole defense. So you got to think about it differently, and there's less. The one thing I do like about football is there's less like resting, shoulder soreness, toe. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's less of that. But at the same time, but at the same time, the flip side of that is, in football, when somebody's out, they out. Like they be out for 4 or 5, like half the season. Like when guys are out in football, they just out. And I feel like, I don't know, but I feel like there's more suspensions of star players in the NFL. I don't know what it is about the off season. I don't know if they having too much fun at parties or what, but it just seems like there's always going to be at least 2 superstar players in the NFL right before the season start. So-and-so suspended for whatever. And now your whole, like, if you already had your draft, now you just, that could have been your first pick or whatever. So, but no, it was great. I think for everybody, and even the guys that came in like, 6th, 7th, like, I feel like they still held their own, for the first half of the season. They were still, I had to respect them going against them. I couldn't just set my lineup and forget it. So no, it was a great fantasy season, and we're recruiting. If y'all know anybody, definitely let us know. We'll set up like a commissioner chat type thing. It's gonna be fun.
I would say I have one more comment is that I should have been a lot more patient when it came to breakthrough players, because a big kicker for me was I had Jeremy Grant and Capella. I didn't even trade them. That
was a mistake. Thank you for Capella, by the way.
You know what I mean? And Grant was a big one too because he played 3 positions. So that bit me in the butt. And in the beginning, the way that Bogdanovich started playing, the Bogdanovich on the Hawks, I thought that Gallinari was going to have that type of season.
Okay.
Because Gallinari kind of plays similar to that when he was on OKC.
Okay.
So there was a lot of potential. I took risk on John Morant, and mind you, I think how you wanted John Morant to play, Chris, was how John Morant was playing before he got injured. Because he was giving me a lot of points, but I think overall I went off potential and a lack of patience, but it's fun, and I think going into fantasy you really don't realize how much like you learn,
Yeah.
and it's funny because even looking at the play-in tournament right now, I saw Sabonis had 21 rebounds the other night, and I'm counting in my head. I wonder how many fantasy.
Yeah, I tried to go on the app. I tried to look.
It already.
There is a fantasy mode, but from my experience of playing fantasy for a while, not NBA, but I like to enjoy the playoffs just as a regular viewer. Like because you're stressing all season, and because there is a playoff option for fantasy, but I like to just watch the playoffs and just enjoy it because it's there's that stress level when fantasy wise. So that's just something that's just a preference on me. If we get bigger and get more competitive, then maybe we'll throw it in. But I just felt like starting off we weren't really going to be competitive enough. But if it would have been close, like 1 through 8, like who knows? But it really, excuse me, really came down to the top 5, for placing. But no, great season overall. 2 things I wanted to say just off of my like competitiveness. One is I learned. So I made all of the rules on my own. Johnny wasn't commissioner to start it up. Johnny became a commissioner week 1. So right when week 1 started, like he became a commissioner that week. But in setting up everything, I kind of did that on my own. There was one rule that I was looking at, and I was like, "Do we really need that?" Like, because I wanted to play it safe. I didn't want to be too extreme with stuff. But there was one rule, and it was the trade deadline. And I was like, "Do we need a trade deadline?" And I was thinking, I was like, and I was doing research, and some people like had issues with having a trade deadline too early, and turns out that ended up biting me in the butt because I thought about it in real life. If you're in the finals, you can't make a trade. If you're in the playoffs, you can't make a trade. Like at a certain point, your team is like who you got is who you got. You could pick up a free agent. But the league could get complicated. There's like salary caps that you can add and stuff. So we're not gonna do all of that. But that's something that ended up biting me in the butt. And ultimately, when me and Chris faced off, week 14 or 15, whatever it was,
15.
And he picked up Lillard. I thought about calling Sean or calling, Catherine's team, calling Juwan. I thought about calling these dudes and being like, yo, like, let's make a trade for everything I got just for tonight. You know what I'm saying? Like I thought about doing that, but then I realized, like, 1, that's corny. 2, that's not how I want to run this league. And 3, it's ultimately my fault for not putting a trade deadline. So that's something that I definitely want to, implement if that's okay with y'all going into next season.
I think it's great.
That's smart.
Because at a certain point, you drafted who you drafted, you made your trades, and then your team is your team. So that's one thing. And the other thing too is I was very surprised that Sean fell out.
Word.
I was very surprised. Well, he's what? He's 3rd, right?
Yeah.
But I was very surprised. I thought when the season, the first couple of weeks, Johnny was saying Sean might go undefeated.
Yeah.
He was every week. He was like, "Yo, I think he's. What if he?" And I was like, "Yo, the odds of going undefeated in fantasy, like with people that know what they're doing."
I know, but ultimately, I mean, the injuries got him.
What did he reach? Like 5-0, 6-0? Like he was undefeated for a little bit.
6-0.
He was 6-0. Yeah.
Durant was out for Lord. Out of
Oh,
all
The
the
whole season.
Yeah.
I feel like he was out for like 8 weeks.
Yeah.
And so
Felt like it.
and he didn't really have a replacement. You know what I mean? So, and remember, LaMelo took a while before he kind of blossomed.
Yeah.
He was
Yep.
playing okay, but he was putting up like star type numbers like later down the line. So
Mhm.
I think but also with Sean's fault, Sean didn't want to trade anybody. Like I
He
remember
was stingy. He was stingy starting off. Yeah.
Chris.
I did want LaMelo.
Chris, I remember I tried to make a trade with this man. He said everybody's off the table except Melo and, and
Carmelo?
yeah,
Yeah,
Carmelo
Carmelo. Yeah.
and some scrub. And I was, oh, so you don't want to make trades then?
Yeah.
I was he didn't even want to trade Grant. So I think ultimately he had that option to do so. But I also think that there were a lot of other people who really had the potential to knock some of us off.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
my brother, me and Taj talked about this, but my brother had a really good team. And if he would have paid more attention and set in lineups and making trades, it could have been a problem. Because he had Simmons, he had Harden, he had Tatum. He and Lonzo was a sleeper because I did look at Lonzo's numbers, and when he was playing,
Lonzo could ball.
he
He
was balling, and he
yeah,
had Ayton too.
he had a good team.
So
Yeah, you just gotta keep up with it.
mhm.
But real quick, this is gonna be the last point, and then we'll get out of here. Rookie of the year, still LaMelo? Or are we going with Halliburton? Or are we going with Edwards?
No. It's not. It's either Melo. It's either Melo.
Yeah.
All right. Why is we so quick to dismiss Halliburton?
Well, Halliburton had a great season, but I think that
because remember, Anthony Edwards only came in as a starter when D'Lo went down, and then LaMelo started off strong, but then got injured and missed. I don't know.
Got hurt too.
Well, he got hurt, but it was the end of the season already. It was like
but
it was like week 18
well
or something.
Melo got hurt towards.
No, that was like I felt like that was more towards the middle of the season. Like
it was the middle. It was the middle for Melo. But look,
like
this is the thing.
Yeah.
This is the thing. Halliburton is not in this. All right. We're gonna say Emmanuel Quickly is the rookie of the year. All right, everybody. we're just gonna go ahead and say that. Because why is he shooting free throws from floaters for the free throw line? Get back here. It's Emmanuel Quickly.
Quickly.
Look, where's Stephen A. Smith when you need him? All right, let me just tell you guys something. All right. Emmanuel Quickly, guys. Emmanuel Quickly. It's Emmanuel. IQ.
Chris,
believer.
I tell you what. The only thing about Emmanuel is that you need to move on from his game quickly.
We will quickly transition out of here. This is Let's Be Real with Tajri Russell. Thank you for all being with me. Elevation 5280 Sports. Have a good night, everyone.